Hello everyone and welcome back here. Okay, now after adding all the objects and materials, now is the time to deal with the lights, and after that make the final shot. Alright, for the lights I want to add a light source for each of these lights. So let's start with this one. I will tap and grab this circle. You can go to the edge selection mode, alt click, and bring the 3D cursor over here. And I will tab out because I want to add a light. Hit Shift A and go to the light section, and let's add, for example, a spotlight. And now as you can see, we have a spotlight. Alright, I want to see the results. And if you want to see the result, you should go to the render section. All right, here and go to the render section. But before we go to the render section, I want to go to the scene setup and go to the render engine and change this from Eevee to cycle. And in the device, I will choose GPU compute instead of CPU because my GPU it's faster. And if you don't find this option right here, go to the edit and then preferences, and then go to the system, and here from the CUDA active the GPU. For me, this one is right here, NVIDIA RTX, and the CPU it's already, you will find it already active. All right, and in the sampling section here we have the viewport, active the denoise in the viewport section, and leave everything as is. There's no need to do anything else. And now I can Z and go to the render mode just to see the result. All right, now I'm in the render mode, and this is what I get. This is the light source. I don't see any lights. It's very weak. As you can see, when I move it down, I can see something. So I will leave it in the same place, and I will go to the light information here, and I will increase the power to, for example, 100, and let's see what that will give us. And you can see the result of the light. It's sharp. As you can see, I can manipulating using this section, the beam shape. I can increase the circle and make it wider. All right, something like that if you like. And the blend as well, so just make it, you can see when I take this back, it will be sharp, and when you push this to 1, for example, it will be smooth. So make sure to make this smooth. And for the color, I can make it a little bit yellowish like this. And after that, you can duplicate this with Alt D instead of Shift D, because if you duplicate it with Alt D, when you change the parameters for one of them, the other lights will follow it, and that's what we want here. So let's go to the solid, and let's go to the top, Z, and let's go to the wireframe, hit Alt with D, and let's take a copy, and this copy should be right here. Try to put it in the center like that. Another Alt D, and let's put this one right here. Right, now let's go to the perspective, and let's see what we got. All right, let's go back like this, and I will hit Z again and go to the render mode. All right, so this is the result that we got here. Looks very nice. I want to copy one of these spots and put it right here as well. I will grab the cylinder and tab and select it like this, and then bring the 3D cursor over there. hit Shift S and choose cursor to selected like that, and then tab out. Now we have the 3D cursor over there. Instead of creating a new one, I can grab this and hit Shift D to take a copy like that, and then hit Shift S and choose selection to cursor. Now if you do that, the light will be moved and take the position of the 3D cursor. And now I can move this down, put right here, and now we have another light source, and you can manipulate the spot size. And you can duplicate it as well. All right, hit Alt D and take another copy here. Hit Shift R to repeat that. Let's move this a little bit, G, and let's move this one right here. All right. All right, maybe now we can jump to that light. All right, this one. I will grab this circle and bring the 3D cursor over here, and I will do the same thing. Tab out, grab this light, for example, hit Shift with D to take a copy right here, Shift S and selection to cursor, and now we have one there as well. You can move this up a little bit like that, I guess, and you can make it a little bit wider like that, or something like this. It looks nice. One more thing here, I think we should change it. The height of these three lights, I think we should move it up because the ground level become higher, and leaving these lights at this level, I think does not make sense. So we can go to the solid, and what I can do is I can grab all of these details and tab to go to the edit mode, and then let's grab all of these vertices and let's move these up a little bit higher like that. And because we used the Alt D duplicate, when you make change, the other parts or the other duplicates will follow. Tab out and now select these lights and hit G to the Z and move these up like that. All right, I think now this scenario is better. All right, let's do the same thing here. I can grab one of these lights, hit Shift with D and take a copy to the Y like that, and moving this to the Y, and let's move it and keep it close to this cylinder. Tab and let's grab, for example, these edges. Shift S and cursor to selected. Now tab out, grab the light source, Shift S and select into cursor, and now we got it in the place. You can move it a little bit like that, that's okay. Hit Alt D and let's take another copy and let's put right here, Shift R to have another copy there, and that's very cool. And now maybe we can grab this, hit Shift D and let's take another copy to the X, G to the Z, and let's put this maybe right here, I guess. Or in this scenario, maybe we can use another light. Tab, hit A, Shift S, bring the 3D cursor over here, and let's try to use point light. Let's see if that will work. After you add this, you can change the radius, make it a little bit bigger, and I just want to see what's going to happen when I make the size big or increase the power. So I will hit Z and go to the render, and now I will add 0 right here just to see the result before and after. Yeah, so now I have the effect of this light. So let's change this to maybe 20 or maybe 15. After that, let's take a copy using Alt D and let's have one right here, hit Shift R, and there we go. Very cool. I will grab this and maybe we can increase the spots size like that. And now we got very nice result, as you can see here. All right, the important area are illuminated. Let's see what else we can do. If you like to add spotlights here, that's totally okay. Let's go to the solid and let's go to the 3D and let's search for spots lights. Hit enter and let's see what we can find here. We can use these lights, for example this one. Let's try to find something else, maybe this one as well, we can use it, or this one. We can distribute them here and use them. And you can add lights on the wall, that will work as well. Even if that doesn't exist in the reference image, you can go beyond that and add these stuff. All right, let's see what we have here. What is this one? I will bring this one here. I just want to see what is this. All right, it looks cool, but I think it's not going to work in this case for this design. I will grab the empty that comes with this light and I will move it up and keep it up in case I want to bring it back. All right, this light source looks nice. Let's bring this one and put it right here. Let's see what's going to happen. All right, it looks cool, but it's a little bit big. Let's try to find something smaller. All right, I think we should go back to the first page because I'm not so I think we're not going to find something similar to what we have here. So I will use this one. It's very small and cute, so I will use it. And for this one, I guess we can move it up above the roof and it's not going to be visible. All right, let's grab this empty and let's put one right here. I will go to the render because I just want to see the result of this light. Hit Z and go to the render. So this is the result. I think we can move this down just a little bit to the Z. I just want to see the effect. I will go to solid and see what's happening here. Hit G to the Z and let's move this up. All right, now I will hit Z and go to the render again. All right, the render looks cool. Let's go back a little bit. Let's increase the blend a little bit. Let's see if that can give us a different result. Maybe we can hit G to the Z and move the light a little bit down. Let's see what's going to happen if we do that. All right, that's not going to work. All right, now I will hit Z and go to solid again because I just want to make some changes here. Like grabbing the light and make some changes. Grabbing these edges, hit G to the Z and move this up like that and then scale it like that. Just change the design a little bit. And then tab out again. And now I will select the empty, hit Shift G and then C to select all of these parts with the empty, and then I will duplicate this. Hit Alt with D to take a copy, and let's add a copy right here. All right, something like that. Or maybe we can make the distance a little bit bigger. Alt D and let's put one right here. And I can use the Shift R technique to repeat that. Hit Shift R again and again. And yeah, the result looks nice. Now I will hit Z and go to the render. I just want to see in the render what will happen. Hit Z and go to render. I will make small changes here. Go to the spot size and I will reduce the size a little bit. Let's type, for example, 110, something like that. All right, the result looks very nice and cool. I will create another light source and put them above the pictures we got there. Let's go to the solid and let's grab these lights. Right, and this one and the empty as well. I will grab just one and then hit shift with D to take a copy. You can go to the top. I think this will be better. And let's move this one here and let's put this in the front of this image and then hit Alt with D and let's have another one right here. Shift R and then Shift R. All right. And you can do something here. If you don't like all of these lines, you can select all of these spots and then go to the transform pivot and change this to individual origin. I will tell you why I'm doing this. If you grab these to scale them, they will scale together like that. But if you change this to individual, you will scale them in their place. Sorry. Like this. And that's better. Now I can see the cone. And that will keep the scene less destructive. And we can do the same scenario for these lights as well. Let's grab this. You can turn off the mesh temporarily because we want to focus on the lights and scale those as well. Like that. Scaling these lights will not affect the power of the light. Just keep that in mind. All right, let's grab those over there and scale them like that. And the same thing maybe for this one. If you like to scale it like that. All right, now after adding these right here, I think we need to make these lights a little bit taller. So now I can grab one of them. For example, let's focus on these lights. Hit G to the Z and let's move those, for example, right here, I guess. And now all what I want to do is just grab one of these pieces and tab and grab these vertices, hit G and move those down like that. That's very cool. Now I will grab this light, the emission light, and I will change this to 50, I guess, because 200 is too much. And now I will hit Z and go to render just to see the result. As you can see, the result looks very, very nice. But we forget one more thing here to make everything ready and cool. We forget to create the hidden light. And the hidden light is something simple to create. Let's go to the solid. And let's go up here and let's see what we got. So we got this frame. We can go to the local mode and focus on this area alone. Go to the face selection mode, hit Alt to select the entire face loop like that. And after doing that, I will hit I to create an inset like this. And then I can use this and change this to a light. I will hit E to extrude this inside like that, and then hit Shift D to take this up a little bit like this, and then hit P and then S to separate it. Tab out and grab this new piece, tab in, go to the edge, select the entire edge loop, and move this up a little bit because we just want to change the direction a tiny bit. G to the Z and move this up like that. Alt click on this one, G to the Z and move this down. Something like that. All right, that's very cool. And now I will give this another material. Let's delete this one, hit new, and let's search for emission. And let's plug the emission to the surface. Delete the principal, we don't need it. Change this to something yellow like that. And increase the, all right, increase the strength to, for example, I don't know, 50 maybe. Hit slash to excite. And now let's take a look. Let's see what will happen now. Hit Z and go to the render mode. All right, this amount looks nice. Let's orbit around and let's see the other parts of the room. As you can see, the result looks awesome and beautiful. Maybe this area, this one right here, I don't know what's going on there, but I can't see much lighting here. I will go to solid. And let's find out what's going on here. Everything is okay, I think. Even the distance is okay. All right, there is no need to change anything here. All right, cool. All right, I think that's it for this video. I will end it here and see you in the next one. Hello again and welcome back here. Before we render the scene, I just want to make a quick change here. I don't like the color of the sofa. I just want to change it to something similar to what we got right here in the reference image. So let's work on that. I will select this and go to the material section of Blender Kit and let's search for fabric. Hit enter. And now let's keep searching for something suitable for this sofa, or let's say something close to what we see here in the reference image. I will keep browsing until I find something good and I will show you the name of this material. I found this one. It's called blue fabric. I can use it and change the color later. And actually you can use one of these. All of them will work. Maybe this one I can use. All right, let's use this one. I will grab it and apply it on the sofa like that. All right, that's very cool. All right, now let's put this right here and let's turn off the eye. Select the sofa and go to the shader editor and hit the home button. All right, to change this, I guess we can use hue and saturation. Just search for hue and saturation and let's put this right here. It will be plugged automatically, and now we can change the hue to something else. You can hold shift and keep moving this until you find something cool. For example, I can use this color, something yellow like that, I guess, and I can take the saturation down, hold shift and move this back. And if you want this to be brighter, just increase the value, hold shift and increase this up. Something like that. So this is the way to change the color of something. And after that, you can keep manipulating the value until you get something close to what we want. Or 0 or 1, 0 or 1 are a good value. But I think we can go beyond 2. Let's type 3. Let's see what will happen. All right, something like that, I guess. If that's too much, you can go back to the material and try to pick something bright. For example, we can use this one as well in case this one is too dark. All right, this one will work as well, but we can judge that after the render. And if you want to manipulate the brightness, you can add another nodes like curve or color ramp. These nodes will do the job as well. Maybe we can saturate it a little bit more. All right, 0.3, 0.38, 0.35 maybe. All right, not just that. One more thing here I would like to do. The ground is dark a little bit, and if you compare it with the reference image, the ground here is bright. And as I said recently, it's okay to change the ground to whatever thing you like. It's not necessary to add a marble. So I will select this and let's hit home to bring the material. And I guess we can control the size a little bit, make it bigger. Let's search for value. And I will plug the value here in the scale section and I will type. All right, so this is the one. I will type 0.7 maybe. All right, so maybe we can type 0.6. All right, something like that, I guess. All right, that's cool. I think that will work. 0.65, I guess. Just make it a little bit smaller. That's cool. All right, now I will add the hue and saturation here. And I just want to manipulate the saturation a little bit. Hold shift and push this back just a little bit. Let's type, for example, 0.8. All right, I think this is cool. And I think we need to increase the value and make this one a little bit brighter. All right, now it's become bright and that's what I want. All right, 2 or 1.7 maybe, something like that. You can see the result before and after when you grab the node and then hit M to mute it. So this is the difference. All right, and for this material, I think this material is too bright. I think we can make small changes here. All right, let's see what we can do here. Let's try to add a curve and let's see if that will work or not here. All right, yeah, we can manipulate that. Or maybe we can, I will hit Control X to dissolve this node and maybe we can add again hue and saturation. I just want to try to take the value back just a tiny bit, but not too much. All right, maybe 0.6, I guess. Let's see the result before and after. Grab this, hit M. And yeah, now it's less bright. All right, that's very cool. And now maybe we can make a quick render to understand what's going on here. All right, let's add a camera. Let's bring the 3D cursor over here and I will hit Shift A and let's search for a camera. And now we got the camera. If you move it, it's right here. I want to pick a nice view. For example, I want to take a shot from here, from this angle. All right, like that. All right, let's grab this human and let's try to find it in the outliner. Just hover over here and hit the dot from the numpad. All right, and it's right here. I just want to turn this one in the render. I don't want to see them. Or you can turn off the whole collection in the render. All right, and now I will frame the camera right here. All what you want to do is just hit Control Alt with 0 and you will frame the camera. After that, you can go to the settings here and change the setting to something suitable for you. For example, you can go to this icon, format preset, and you can choose one of these options. All right. And if you hit the home, you will frame the camera like that. You can maximize that. That's totally okay. And now I will hit the tilde key underneath the escape button. So I can control the camera, or there's a different scenario. You can use this lock right here. Right, let's make the line a little bit bolder. This one right here to lock the camera, and now you can put the camera in the place that you like. All right, sorry for that. I prefer using the tilde key. After that, you can go to the camera setting after you pick the frame or select it, and you can change the focal length. For example, let's type 35. All right, I will turn this off. I don't want to use it. I will use the tilde key instead of that. And now you can take a shot for your scene. In case you want to see more, you can take this number, the focal length, to something smaller, like, I don't know, 20 maybe, but that will make a little bit distortion. I don't recommend that, so let's stick with 35 or something like this. And in case you want to rotate the camera, in case you want to take a portrait render, create a portrait render, just flip these numbers. For example, let's type here 1080 with 1920. In this case, you can flip or rotate the camera like that. All right, and now I will take a shot and let's see what's going to happen. Let's go to the render setting. I will use cycle, and device will be GPU, and I talked about that. And in the render section, active denoise, don't forget that, and leave everything as is. And for the samples, I guess we can use 500 samples here. I will turn off noise threshold. I will not use it. I can increase the samples and I will get something cool here. All right. Yeah, I think that's it. After that, you can go to the render and render the image, or you can hit F12 to render the image. So I will hit F12, and after render finish, I will be back. All right, now the render is done, and this is the result. Well, so far everything looks cool. All right, cool. If you want to compare this image to our result, keep in mind that there is a difference here. What you see right here, the lighting here, is different than the light right here. I'm assuming now we are at night and there's no light in the environment. I mean the sky. That's why everything looks dark. But if I add a sky texture, or if I add HDRI texture, we will get something different. Or let's say if I add a sunlight. So before we come to that, I will take another shot. I just want to see the whole area. And before I do that, I will save this image first. You can go to the save. So let's call this night underscore image 1, for example. And let's hit save as image. And you can keep in mind that you can change the format from here. You can choose whatever format we got right here. I will leave it as PNG because I want to take this to Photoshop, and PNG has a lot of color and information inside the image, and you can edit it and manipulate colors. Just keep that in mind. Save as image. Just hit this button to save it, and now it's done. After that, let's exit from here and let's try to take another shot. I will hit that tilde key underneath the escape, and let's try to pick another spot. For example, we can create a render from here, I guess. You can make these branch a little bit visible. I think this will make the render looks cooler. And try to align the line of the camera with the lines of, for example, these panels, just to see if the camera tilted a little bit. So can tip the camera down a little bit to make the distance between the panel and the frame even. Like that, maybe. All right, cool. And now maybe we can take a shot from here. I will hit F12 to render the scene, and after this shots finish, I will be back. I paused the render because I noticed something. I forget to do it. The clock right here, I forget to give it a material. So let's work on that. All right, so let's see. Let's bring the reference image first, and let's try to find a good image here. All right, maybe this one. All right, it's very simple to do. All what we need to do is just pick this, and let's go to the material. Just move the header, and until you find the new, hit new. And let's change the base color to something dark gray. And all right, after that, I think that's it. We don't need to change anything else. I will give this piece the same material. Hold shift to grab this, Control L, link material, and you can give this a name, wall look, for example, underscore empty for material. And for the minutes and seconds hands, you can give them a gold material, and I think we can pick the same material we gave it to the chair, but I just want to see the name. Gold is called gold sheen. All right, now we can go back. All right, and let's pick this one, and let's search for gold. All right, gold. That's weird. Gold, yeah, gold sheen. And let's apply the same material on this hand as well. Grab this, hold shift to grab this, Control L, and link material. And this small piece, I will give it the black material. Hold shift to grab this, Control L, and link material. All right, I think that's it. Now I can go back to the camera. You can hit 0, and now we can create a new render. I will hit F12, and after render finish, I will be back. All right, now the render is finished, but I'm not so quite happy with this material. I think the wood is too dark. All right, for the box carrier. I think we can change this to something better. And these balls, I forget to hide them. So anyway, this render is just for test. What I'm going to do now is I will grab these balls and I will delete them. I don't need them anymore. And for this material, we have two options. Either we change the material itself to something, to another material, or maybe we can manipulate the color of the texture itself. But I don't like that. I think changing this material will be better. So I will select this piece and I will hold shift to add this one, hit Control L and choose link material. All right, I think this is better. And all right, one more thing here I like. If you hit F12, I think the lines here are too dark. So it's not quite necessary to manipulate the dark material that we add right here at the crevices. It's up to you. You can make them a little bit brighter. And that's what I will do here. But keep in mind that this is not quite important. All right, let's see what we did here. Let's zoom in here and let's bring back the value to 1. And yeah, I think I will accept this. This will be better. Let's see if we forget anything else here. All right, now I will go back to the camera, and this time I think I will create a different render, but this one will be a little bit bigger. If you want to double the size of the image, just change the 100% to 2. All right, and now the image will be much bigger. It's like multiplying these number by 2. All right, save the project and let's make another render. Okay, as you can see, the render now finished. And now if you go to the view and zoom, you can zoom this to 100%, or you can hit 1 from the numpad. So let's do that. All right, everything looks cool. I like the result and I like the details. All right, maybe now we can take another shot. Let's save this one, go to the image, save as, and let's change this from night image 1. Let's hit this plus to 2 and then hit save. All right, now let's try to pick a different angle. Or something like this, I guess. And let's hit F12 to render this. Okay, so this is what we got. The render is finished. And looks cool and clean. I'm not so quite happy with the color of the sofa. Maybe we can edit that later. All right, now let's save this image as well. Go to save as, and let's hit this plus, and now it's become 3, and then hit save. All right, and now let's take another shot. For example, for this area, I guess. And I think the resolution is too much. It's up to you to control that, but for me, because I'm recording, I will make it a little bit smaller. Let's type maybe 150%. All right, and let's hit F12 to render it. Okay, as you can see, the render is finished, and this is the result that we got. The result looks cool, except for this area. It's a little bit lifted, and we can fix it very easy. But in general, everything looks fine. And the same scenario, you can go to save as, and hit this plus, change number to 4, and then save as image. All right. What if you want to take a shot with depth of field? If you want to create the depth of field effect, it's very easy to do. All what you want to do is just to grab the frame of the camera and then go to the camera and active depth of field like that. And then focus objects, pick the object that you like. For example, I want to focus on this one. And now this object in focus and everything is out focus. And now we can render this. And in case you want to change the dimension of the image, it's up to you, but I will keep everything as is, and I will make another render. I will hit F12. The render, as you can see, is finished, and now you can understand how depth of field is working. All right, let's save this image. Let's exit. Just keep in mind, if you want to control the depth of field, you can manipulate the f-stop right here, right? If you make this number small, the depth of field will be too strong. And if you want to change this value to the default, just put the mouse right here and hit backspace. All right, I think that's it for this video. I will end it here and see you in the next. Hello again and welcome back here. Okay, now we are inside Photoshop. And these are the images that we rendered. I'm going to pick one of these images just to make the post-processing. So for example, let's see which one we can pick. All right, maybe this one, just to grab the image and put it inside Photoshop. Now we got it. All right, it's very easy. I'm not going to spend too much time fixing this or post-processing this. All what I want to do is just go to filter and use camera raw filter. It's very beautiful and easy to use. Here we have the light section, color section, effects, and we have a lot of sections here and a lot of parameters we can manipulate and see the effects on the image. So let's start with the first section, the lights. From here you can fix the lights, make it better. For example, the exposure, if you want to increase it a little bit, make it a little bit bright. If you want to manipulate the contrast, you can do that by pushing this a little bit to the right, like that. The highlight, if you want to control it and make it even more bright, something like this, but don't go too crazy to avoid burning the image. And here we have the shadow. If you want to make the shadow area a little bit strong, you can move this a little bit to the left, etc. And from the color section, you can fix the, for example, the white balance. If you take this towards the blue, you can make the light a little bit more cold, something like this. And you can manipulate the saturation. And in the effects here, we have the texture effect. It's a very beautiful option we got right here. This effect will make the texture more visible. The details of the texture will be strong. You can see now when I move this to the left, or to the right, it will give a certain effect. So just keep that in mind. You can move this a little bit, maybe to the 30. It will give you a nice result. The clarity, it's like contrast, and it's like contrast and texture option. It's like they mixed between texture and contrast together. When you move the clarity a little bit to the right, you will have a nice and sharper result. And that's something cool as well, by the way. All right. And in case you care about manipulating the shadow, you can do all of that. And you can grab this small circle and push it a little bit towards the blue, and you can grab the outer circle and move it just to control that even more. As you can see, that's give us a bluish tint here. It's nice. If you want to reset it, just double click on the circle and that will reset it. And this technique applies on all of these sliders. When you double click on one of them, it will be reset. In the details, we have the sharpening. You can make the image more sharp and bring all of these details to life. All right, very cool. Now the details are quite visible and the result becomes so nice, so beautiful. After finish the editing here, you can hit OK to accept this result. Now you can see the result before and after. It's so beautiful. In case you want to add some glow effects for these lights, you can select them and copy the layer and use it again. For example, you can go to this option right here, this tool, object selection tool, and just make a square above the area that you want to select like that. And Photoshop will know what exactly you want. After you make the selection, go to the layer, hit Control C, Control Shift V to paste the layer here. And now if I turn this off, you can see I have the light bulb here. And now this image, double click on it and you can go to the outer glow and you can make it glow. So I will push the opacity a little bit and manipulate the size, as you can see, like that. And you can control the color. You can add something yellowish, but not too much, something subtle. All right. If you want to make it strong, you can use this option. All right, looks nice. And you can control the opacity after all of that. All right, looks nice. Cool. And when you be satisfied with the results, you can hit OK. And now we have this finished. And in case you want to give these, do the same thing here. You can do the same scenario. Go back to this first layer and grab these. All right. Hold Shift and create a new square here to select this bright area and here as well. After that, go back to select a tool and hit Control C, Control Shift V to paste the layer, and you can hit Alt on the effect and move it to this layer. And now we have the same effect. If in case you want to manipulate it to get a different result, you can do that. It's up to you. Something like that, if you like. Cool, very nice. In case you want to change a color for one element, for example, the sofa right here, if you want to manipulate the color of this sofa, you can go back to the first layer and you can go to this tool, the object selection tool, and click. All right, you can cover the sofa like that. All right, as you can see now, I have selection on the sofa and on the chair as well. I will hold Alt and make a new selection like this to subtract the chair. And now I'm just focusing on the sofa. Now after that, if you like, you can copy the sofa and edit it alone. Just take a copy, hit Control C, Control Shift V, and now I can focus on the sofa like that. And you can hit Control U to open the hue and saturation if you want to reduce the saturation a little bit. In case you want to change the color, you can choose colorize. If you want to pick a different color, it's up to you. You can see now. All right, you have all the options here. Let's turn off colorize and let's try to reduce the saturation here. All right, let's put this at 0. Just double click on it. And let's accept something gray, for example. And then hit OK. And now we have a gray sofa. You can see the result before and after. So what I mean is you have the ability to do that here inside Photoshop. And if you have a subscription, you can add a person here. For example, I can go to this tool. Let's see, where is it? This one. You can select lasso tool and create some silhouette like a person. All right. And let's use the generative fill and let's type, for example, a human sitting here on the sofa, for example. Hit generate and let's see what Photoshop will give us. As you can see, Photoshop give us a stupid human comes from Mars, like aliens. But you got the idea. Oh my god, that's crazy. I don't like that. Just delete this layer. All right, so this is how to post-process the image quickly and get a good result with the camera raw filter. So that's it for this video, and I will see you in the next one. Hello everyone, and welcome back here. What if you want to create a natural lighting? A lighting comes from outside. All right, let's see how can we do that. Well, it's very easy actually. All what you want to do is just go to the world and go to the color and just scroll the wheel until you see all of these options and pick sky texture. Now we got the sky texture right here. Now if you go inside the room, and don't forget that these curtains are transparent, the curtains in the middle. Now if I hit Z and go to the render, let's see what's going to happen. Immediately now we can see some lighting comes from outside, and you have the ability to control this this node. It's called sky texture. Here we have all of these options for this node. For example, if you want to rotate the sun, you can rotate it and put it in front of these windows. For example, let's type 90 and let's see what's going to happen. As you can see now, the sun comes directly on the windows. And now we can see some lighting illuminating the scene. But before we accept this result, let's do something. Let's go to the solid first, and let's block some places. For example, the door right here, the light comes from these cavities, let's say crevices, I don't know what to call it, but it could go through the door, and we can see some lights comes from this open area. But to avoid that, we can add, for example, we can add a cube, all right, and scale this to the Z, for example, and make it thin like that. And I will grab, for example, this face after you go to the edit mode, and I will hit Control plus to grow the selection. All right, so all what I selected is just these 5 faces, and I will invert them. Hit Control I to invert. The idea is very simple. All what I need to do is just selecting this face and then hit XF to delete it and keep all the faces exist. And now I will move this out and push it just a tiny bit. All right, now this box will block any lighting comes from outside, and the light that comes from outside will not reach the door. After that, here in this area, you can add, for example, a plane, and you can scale it like that and block the roof as well. By the way, there is a different scenario if you prefer. You can grab the structure itself and you can select all of these faces like that. Hit Shift D and then hit right click to leave this copy in the same place, and then hit P and then S to separate this out. Tab out to grab this new frame. Go to the X selection mode, grab all of these edges. As you can see, hit F to fill this area. Hit A to grab all of these. Hit E to extrude these up. And now we have a cup to cup this area. So no lighting will comes from here. Shift D to the Z, and if you like, you can take a copy here and cover this area as well. But keep in mind to delete the faces in the middle. We don't need them on the ground. Go to the wireframe, grab the surface like that, hit XF and get rid of it. And now let's focus on the ground. Control L to select linked faces, key to the Z, and let's move this up, for example, like that. And that will be it. From inside, if we have any overlapping, we will try a different scenario. But we don't see any overlapping because this covers reach the outside surface of the wall. All right, now let's go to the render mode, hit Z and go to render, and let's see the result. All right, as you can see, the room is totally illuminated and the result looks so beautiful. But if we select this curtain right here and if we hit H to hide it, you can see that the lights could go through the window and hit the ground. And that's something cool when sunlight reach the ground or goes inside the room. But how can we change or manipulate the material of the curtain to make it to leave the sun ray goes through it? I will hit Ctrl Z to bring back the middle curtain and select it, and let's go to the material preview. So this is the material. As you can see here, we have translucent BSDF with a Fresnel linked inside mix shader, all right, with some normal. But imagine if we add another shader here, like transparent. Hit Shift A and let's search for transparent, and let's put it right here. And I will hit Control Shift right click and move the mouse from this node to that node. And Node Wrangler will create a mix shader right here in this area, and we will link it here. But if you didn't have the Node Wrangler active, you can go to the edit and then preferences. In the add-on section, search for WR to find the Node Wrangler and activate it. And now you can try Control Shift right click from this to this. And now we got the mix shader mixing between the transparent and the mix shader, the final result of this material. And here we have the factor. If we move the factor to the left like this, the curtain will be disappeared. And if you push this to 1 like that, I will get a result similar to the old result. But if you keep it at the center, for example 0.5, now we have the sun rays could go through the window and the curtain, and now we can see it, and that's something cool. And here we have them as well. And now you have the ability to manipulate the sun position and do all of that in case you don't like this result. You can go back to the sky texture, and here we have all the parameters of the sky texture. For example, the sun elevation here, you can change this to, for example, let's try maybe 45. You can see now when you change the angle here, how the result will be different. Now the sun is, let's say, almost above the earth or the ground, and it will be too strong. If you want to manipulate the sun size, you can do that. For example, step 1, and let's see. That will help to make the shadow a little bit smooth, but the difference will not be quite visible. And sun rotation here, if you want to change this to, for example, 80, you can see what's going on here. Maybe 60, in case you want the sunlight goes like that. You have the ability to do this. And in case you want to manipulate the strength, you can type 0.2 maybe. In case you want it to be weak like this or strong, it's up to you. Let's try 0.5. Alright, 0.5 looks nice. I like 0.5. So this is the idea. This is how to manipulate the sky texture and get different results. So far what we got right here looks so beautiful and nice, and I think I will stick with this result, and now we can create another render. But before we actually doing this, I don't know, I'm not so quite happy with the sofa. I just want to select it and just make small changes here. Let's change the saturation a little bit. Let's change this number to 0.2 maybe, and make it less saturated. I think that will be better. All right, now let's go to the solid, his Z, and go to solid. And now we can take another shot. All right, for example, maybe from this angle we can have a shot like this, something like that, I guess. And let's check the resolution. All right, everything looks cool. And in the render setting, nothing here to change actually. All what I will do here is just hit F12 and render the scene. And after render finished, I will be back. This is the final results of this render, and it looks so beautiful. Cool. Very nice. Alright, let's save this image. Go to the image, save as, and give this a name, and maybe we can change this to natural. Natural light. Alright. And maybe we can change this number to 1 and save it. Alright, now maybe we can create or take another shot. So let's rotate the camera. For example, we can take a shot maybe from here. What do you think? Or something like that, I guess. Alright, I will hit F12 to render this. And this render is finished as well. And the result looks so nice. Alright, now maybe we can save this one as well and take another shot. Okay. I just want to focus on this here. I will active the depth of field effect. Just select the frame of the camera and then go to the camera properties and go to the depth of field and activate like that, and use this eyedropper to pick the object that you want to focus on. For example, I want to focus on this the cushion here. And if you want to see the results, you can hit Z and go to the material review to see that. Alright, now we are in the material review, and you can see everything behind the chair will be out focused, and the chair itself will be sharp because the chair in focus. You can see, for example, the character, the curtains, the panels, all of these objects are blurry. And if you want to make the effect strong, you can reduce the number of f-stop. That will make it even stronger. Alright, now all what we need to do is just pick the correct angle and render the scene. I will use the tilde technique, hit the tilde, and I will move the camera a little bit. And by the way, if you hit the tilde and if that doesn't work, as I remember, you should go to the preferences, edit, and then preferences. And I guess in the navigation, alright, I just want to see navigation, or yeah, key map, sorry. Inside the key map, just active pie menu on a drag. Well, if you leave this off, for example, if I turn this off and if I hit the tilde key, I will get this menu, as you can see, for the views. But if I active this option right here, and if I hit the tilde, now I will have a different option. But if I hit the tilde and move the mouse a little bit, I can bring back the menu of the views. So this option is very beautiful. This option will give you an extra advantage, let's say. So keep this active and then save the preferences. And now when you hit the tilde key, now you can active the walk navigation. Or by the way, you can go to the view, as I remember, and navigation, you can active the walk navigation. It will give you the same results. Alright, that's very cool. Alright, now I will render this image, and after rendering finished, I will be back. As you can see, this is the result of the render, and it looks beautiful. So nice. I like it. After that, you can save the image, and you know how. Alright, let's get it. Let's try to take a different shot, but this time I will take a landscape shot. Let's go to the output and let's flip these numbers. What we should do here is just flipping these numbers. So here I should type 1920 and here 1080. I will hit Alt or hold Alt and I will move the mouse from bottom to up because I want the two slots here to be 1920, and then hit enter, and then I can change this one to 1080. All right, that's very cool. All right, let's take the camera, for example, here. Or something like this, I guess. All right, let's render this image and let's see what we will get. When you be satisfied, just hit F12. All right, this is the render. It's done, and we got very nice result here. Okay, so now you got the idea how to create a night scene or how to create a natural light without any complexity. It's very easy. Just put the sky, fix the curtains, fix the window, make it emit lights, and that's it, without adding any portal light or add any extra light inside the room. But keep in mind that's depend on the size of the window. If you make the size of the windows small, you should take a different scenario, like increasing the sun intensity or like adding a portal light. But in this example, you don't need to do any of that. And as you can see, the result is so beautiful and fully illuminated. Hello everyone and welcome back here. In this video, I just want to create a simple, beautiful effect. You know, when the sun rays goes inside an interior scene, sometime when the weather become a little bit dusty, or let's say if the weather has a little bit of dust or dust particles flying in the air, the sun rays will hit these particles and you will see a sun light beam. For example, if I bring this image right here, you can see here we can see the beams of the sun because of the weather is not quite clean. And this effect makes the render more realistic if you add it. In this video, we want to learn how to easily create that. All right. Let's take this image out and let's put the 3D cursor in the center of the world. All right. And you can put it anywhere, by the way, it's not quite important. And let's pick a view, for example, the right or the front. And I will add a cube. Go to the mesh, hit Shift A, and go to the mesh and add cube. And now we got the cube right here. I will hit G to put the cube almost here in the center, and I will scale this a little bit like that. And I will scale this to the Z like that and make it covers the room. Maybe scale it and make it bigger like this, and to the Z as well. And then let's go to the right view, and I will scale it like that as well to cover the room. So now we got this result, as you can see. After doing that, let's go to the object properties and scroll down until you reach the viewport display. Open display as and change this to bounce. The cube is still here, but we just changed how it looks inside the 3D viewport. All right, and now I will select the cube and go to the material editor, and I will create a new material here. And let's hit Shift A to search, and let's search for volume. All right, let's add, for example, a volume scatter, and let's plug this to the volume, and you can cut the connection here from the surface. Hold Control, hold right click, and move the mouse like that. And now we have this node here. All right, now we can go inside the room and let's see what will happen there. I will hit Z and go to render. As you can see, this is the result. Almost nothing here because of the intensity. Now, if you change the intensity to a smaller number, we will see something. All right, so let's change this number to, for example, 0.1, hit enter. All right. All right, now we can see some light beam. And if you orbit around, now it's more visible here. And that's will make, or let's say that will give us an extra layer of realism to the scene. But I think the effects, it's strong a little bit. I will reduce the number. Let's type, for example, 0.04 maybe. The effects still exist, but it's a little bit weaker, and that's what we want. And maybe we can change this 4 to 2 if you like. You can make it even weaker. It's up to you. All right, maybe we can try 3. And regarding the color, you can change this to something yellowish like this. That will give you the yellow effects. And it's up to you to manipulate this or change it. Maybe we can change this or manipulate the saturation like that, I guess. And now let's try to pick a different angle. All right, now the scene looks more beautiful. And yeah, very, very nice result we got right here. One more thing you can add to this scene, and it will give it an extra layer of realism. And it's optional. Imagine if you add a tree outside the window, and imagine if the shadow of the tree branch hit the curtain or the window. Imagine how that effects will be reflected on the ground inside the inside this room. All right, let's put a tree outside the windows and let's see what will happen. I will hit Z and go to the solid like that. And all right, let's go to the Blender kit and let's open this eye and let's choose free first and let's search for trees. Enter. All right, let's try to find a good one. For example, this one, I think it will work. Let's grab this one and let's put it right here. And let's try to find something different. All right, this one looks cool as well. Maybe this one, we can grab it and put it right here, I guess. It seems like this one is too small, but it's okay to fix this. We can scale it and make it big. That's okay. And this one, I guess we can scale it down. All right. I will do something here. I will change this to 3D viewport. Let's go outside to control these trees. And here I can go inside and hit Z and go to render just to see the result. All right, so far nothing happened here. Let's try to move this tree. All right, now we can see something. Look how beautiful the result now become. Okay, something like this. And we can do the same thing for the second window. I think this one, we don't need it. I will delete it. And let's stick with this one. I will hit shift with D and take a copy over here. All right, after rotating this, now we can see something here. All right, if that affect the lighting inside the scene, you can increase the sun intensity here. For example, the strength now is 0.5. Let's change this to 0.7 maybe. Now it will be stronger. Right, cool. I just want to check the sun ray beams. I want to make sure that everything is okay. All right, now maybe we can take another shot. I put the camera over there, as you can see now. If I hit 0, all right, now I will hit Z and go to solid view, and I will render this hitting F12. And after rendering being finished, I will be back. The render is finished, and now we got something very beautiful. And keep in mind that you can change this tree to another tree. One more thing, you can give this tree one material and make it dark in case you don't want to see the colors, or if you want to make it white, that's okay as well. And for the transparency of the curtain, we can fix it inside Photoshop. We can add a white layer or maybe increase the brightness here in this area. That will help us solve it. And you can remove the trees and take another approach. That will work as well. But so far we got something very, very nice. When I searched inside this tool, I found this tree. This tree will work as well because it doesn't have leaves and it's not going to block the sun rays too much. It will give you the feeling of, or let's say the shadow of the branch without blocking the sun rays. You can use this one as well. All right, now maybe we can create another render. All right, the render now is finished, and this is what we got. Very nice, very cool. All right, now I can take a different shot from different angles. And after that, we will visit Photoshop for post-processing. So that will be it for this video, and I will see you in the next one. Hi again, and welcome back here. Okay, now we are back in Photoshop, and I got one of the rendered image. I drag it and drop it right here inside Photoshop. And now let's start with post-processing, and it will be very easy. As I did in the previous video, or let's say in the previous videos, you can go to the filter and use a camera raw filter. And now we are inside the camera raw filter. We have the light section, color, effects, and we have the detail. That's almost all what we want here. Exposure will help you to make the image more bright. or dark. If I take this slider, for example, here, as you can see now, it's become too dark. And if you double click it, you will reset it like that. For example, in this image, maybe we can increase the contrast a little bit by pushing this a tiny bit, like this maybe. Looks cool. And you can ignore all of these options for now. I think we don't need to use them. We can go down here, and in the color, I think the color is cool. In case you want to make this image looks cold, you can take this slider towards the blue, and vice versa. If you want to make this looks more warm, you can push it to the yellow. But I'm not going to play with these sliders here. I will jump to the effects. Texture is one of the important effects here. This option here will make the texture looks more visible. Now if I push this a little bit here, you can see now the image become more clear, and the clarity will act similar to the texture and contrast as well. You can say they are mixed. Now I can push the clarity a little bit here. Alright, as you can see now the image become more clear. Alright, and for the vignette, this option right here will create a halo around the image if you want this to be dark or white. If you take this to the left, you can create a dark halo. If you push this to the right, you will have a white one. So it's up to you. For me, I like to push it a little bit towards the dark and have a dark halo to make the focus on the middle of the image. One of the important sliders is the sharpening. We can give it a little bit of sharpness. 35 will be cool. And now the image become clear and nice. In case you want to manipulate the highlight, you can do that. And you can see when I push this, the sun lights here, this area will be affected. And the interior lights as well. You can move this just a tiny bit just to make some area even brighter. And after that, you can hit OK. And now if I hit Ctrl Z, you can see the result before and after. Alright, after doing all of that, here we have some options we can use. For example, we have this tool. You can open the dodge tool. And this tool is very nice in case you want to make the bright area even brighter. By activating this tool and go to the exposure and pick a small number, for example 25, because we don't need the effect to be strong, and make the brush big, and you can click multiple times, for example here on the bright area just to make it brighter, something like that. You can see now it's like we have a glow here, and in case you want to make this area looks even brighter, you can click here multiple times, for example here, and that will make it looks more interesting. For example, the light bulb. All right, if you want the effect to be a little bit stronger, go to the exposure and increase this to 75 maybe, and make another click here, and you can see now the glow effect. All right, yeah, now the result looks better. You can focus on these as well here. Two clicks will be enough. All right, cool. And you can brush some areas, but for example, if I want to make one stroke here, it's better to reduce the number to 25 again, because we want to create a subtle effect. You can see now we have some lighting hitting this area. On the blends, in case you want, you can brighten this area and make it even brighter. For example, this area as well. Cool. So this is how you post-process an image in the easiest way without adding any layers or channels, let's say. All right, let's bring another image. For example, this one. And let's see what we can do with it. I will follow the same approach. By the way, if you like, you can use the shortcut for the camera raw filter. You can hit Control Shift A to access that. And now let's start manipulating these sliders. Let's push the contrast a little bit. Something like that, 21 plus. Some texture, some clarity. Clarity, don't push it too much. Just a tiny bit. About 16. All right, some vignette if you like. It's okay to add. And some sharpness. All right, now we got something very cool. In case you want to make the carton looks even brighter, you can create a selection around it. And the easiest way is to go to this tool. It's called Object Selection Tool, and create a selection like that. All right, and now we got this. And now I can hit Control C just to copy the selection, and then hit Control Shift V to paste this. And now we got this separately right here. All right, now after that, I will duplicate this again. I will hit Control J, and I will turn off this copy. And I will go back to the Move tool, and then with this layer selected, I can go to the filter and go to blur and choose a Gaussian blur. And you can pick a number like 70, 75, for example, or more or less than that. And after that, accept this result. And I'm going to use this and mix it with this layer. You can use the blending mode that we got right here. For example, I can choose soft light. And you can see the effect before and after. We have some glowing effect happen here. If you want to make this even stronger, you can hit Control J, duplicating this layer again and again, again. All right. And now we got very nice glow effect here. And you can put all of these inside a folder if you like. If you are satisfied with this result, you can hit right click and choose a flatten image and accept or apply all of these changes like that. You can hit OK. And now we got this result like that. If you want to go beyond that, you can go to this tool. It's called Dodge tool. And you can make the brush a little bit big and target a certain area like the cartons here, or a specific area, for example, the sofa. And you can target these. All right. These parts of the carton. If you highlight them like that, you will make the carton looks even more, let's say, you will achieve the depth here. For example, some brushes here we can add just to make this area even brighter. And this one, maybe you can brighten this area a little bit just to make this area looks even brighter. It's like a reflection happen here, maybe here as well. All right, very cool. Let's bring another shot. For example, this one here. And let's hit Control Shift A to go to the camera raw filter. And let's increase the contrast a little bit. Some texture, clarity, with sharpness. And maybe we can give it a little bit of the vignette effect. It's optional. Maybe we can increase the highlight just a tiny bit. All right. We can manipulate the shadow area a little bit. All right, the result is so beautiful. You can see here now the result before and after. That's so cool. After that, you can hit OK. And now we got very cool results. All right, let's bring another image here. This one looks so beautiful. Let's hit Control Shift A to jump to the camera raw filter. And let's do the same scenario. Some contrast, some texture, some clarity, with some sharps. And now it's become so cool. If you want to increase the highlight, that's okay. And it's awesome. Beautiful. All right, now you got the idea of how this could be done. And now, as you can see, we got so beautiful results. And I think that's it for this video. And that's it for this course. I hope you like this course, and I hope this course was informative. My name is Marwan Hussein, and I am a Blender teacher, and I created too many courses teaching you how to use Blender. You can check them out, and see you in the future courses.